I'm really excited to talk to you and discuss throughout this topic and throughout these materials ethics, organizational ethics, corporate social responsibility, fraud, corruption. All of that plays into organizations today. Now, as we've discussed a number of times, the work environment today is extremely competitive and it moves really, really fast. And because so much of productivity is dependent on outcome and on its results driven, that we realize that organizational ethics and the ability to make good choices and to do good becomes really important. In fact, my research, which I've studied over the last 15 years, all comes down to ethics and why people make bad decisions when they're talking about business. And you know, our research has showed us some really important things. They've showed us that for the most part, people that engage in unethical acts are really good people. Right? And it starts out really small, right? These unethical acts, whether it's taking a small shortcut here or a small it starts small and it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger and bigger until it suddenly gets so big that it's discovered, it's broken down, and then people lose their jobs, public humiliation for the people, the perpetrator as well as the victim, and it just starts the circle of a negative work environment, and suddenly the business that was engaged in very productive products and services, that was creating value for the community, for the employees, for the shareholders, for all the stakeholders, suddenly it becomes a negative climate, a negative work environment where people don't want to work, and the business just starts a downward cycle. And so the challenge that we have today of creating ethical organizations that do good, organizations that provide a healthy product or service, that don't take shortcuts, that don't do whatever they can to just increase the bottom line that much more, right? Those are the type of organizations that people want to work for. They're the type of organizations where creativity is allowed to grow and innovation is built up and lifted, and the organization as a whole is then built up and lifted. And that's the type of organization that we want to build as we go out and work for organizations throughout the world. Now, as we go through this topic, pay special attention to some important things, right? We're going to go through several perspectives and frameworks that you can go through as you think about, okay, what should I be doing in this situation? We'll also talk about a couple of red flags. If this happens, right, what should that signal to me? Well, it says I should look a little bit further, right? And then we'll talk about corporate social responsibility and how organizations today, because of the global environment, right, they just can't obey the law. It's not enough to just obey the law, but we can actually engage and to help the community, to help society, and to be a force for good in the world today.